WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network welcomes you to the Live Your Life Without Limits show with your host, Ian White, life fulfillment coach, who helps people get out of their own way so they can live the life they were meant to.
Hello and welcome to the Live Your Life Without Limits show. I'm your host, Ian White, president of Coaching Deconstructed, Inc. I am a life fulfillment coach, and I help people to get out of their own way so they can live the life that they were meant to. Now, I think I've stated this already in prior shows, but I really want this show to be something that helps people move forward in their lives and helps them live their life without limits, truly. And in order to do that, in order for this show to really be a success, I need your input and questions and comments. So please send those questions to either the Ask button on this webpage, on the WGSN-DB webpage, or to my contact page on my website at coachingdeconstructed.com. This is your show too, and for it to be able to be something to help you guys move forward, I need those comments and questions. So please feel free to send those through. Now, if you recall in the first show that I did, where I kind of shared my journey, what I'm all about, and where I want to take this show, I indicated that there was 5 steps that we needed to do in order to start making some of those changes in our lives. The first step was getting clarity and direction on where we need to go, then explore possibilities, then create an action plan, then take inspired action where you feel the inspiration, and then get the support and accountability that you need. But today I want to focus on getting that clarity on direction. And I have some concepts and a tool that I'd like to share with you that are going to help you get some clarity on that direction so that you can create a vision for your life or a vision for an area of your life that is truly exciting. Something that lights you up, turns you on, excites you so that you want to move towards that goal. Because one of the biggest issues I see with people who are coming to me for support and for help right now is that they are not clear on their vision of where they want to take their life. They're currently stumbling through life. Either they're caught up in the day-to-day or they have too many limits put upon them for them to be able to dream in a bigger, grander, greater way. So I want to give you some concepts and a tool that are going to help you guys create a vision for yourself that you're excited about, and some really practical steps on how to adjust as you go so that you can start to live that life that is exciting. So whether you're in one of these 3 places or in any other place, whether you've given up on your dreams because of a lack of belief in yourself, or that you've woken up and you're like, what the hell's going on here? My life is in shambles. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here. Or if you're just starting to wonder, is this all there is to life? Isn't there more? I'm hoping that what I'm able to provide today will help you start to see where you are and how you're going to get to that new place. So the first concept I want to cover is, first of all, before I cover the concept, I want you to give yourself a break. This stuff is not taught in school. It certainly wasn't when I was in school. What we were taught was how to repeat back and memorize information to have the right answers. And what I'm teaching and sharing with you is all about feeling. It's about listening to your gut. It's about trusting your intuition. There's a cycle that we go through when we experience something. The first thing, once we experience something, we have a feeling. That feeling leads to a thought or a meaning or language, and then that affects our outward action or our behavior. And then we cycle through these feelings, thoughts, behavior. Now, a lot of people think that we think before that we feel, but the way I know this is backwards is, and the reason I'm sharing this is because I want you to understand that the whole basis of where we're going and how you create a vision is based on you feeling first, what you want to feel. So going back to my example, the cycle here. So you feel, you think, and you behave. And the reason I know this is because if I ask you to close your eyes and I hand you an icicle, you feel the cold first. You then give it language, something that you've been taught what cold means. You say, oh, that's cold. And then you have a behavior, likely you let go of the icicle because it's cold. So we feel first, then we think, and then we behave. So the first concept I want to cover is that there is nothing more important in this entire world than the way that you feel. Nothing. And a lot of people think that you need to, let's say, have money to do something to be happy, let's say. And I know that to be entirely false. I can be happy anytime that I want without the condition of having money. I could be playing in the backyard with my kids and hearing my kids laugh, and I'd be completely satisfied. I don't necessarily have to be on vacation to be out with my kids to have that fun experience. I can actually go into my head right now, and because this gives me so much joy, hearing the giggles of my kids, I can become happier in an instant just by going to that place. So that's concept number one. There's nothing more important than the way that you feel. Concept number two relates to a seeing is believing way of thinking. A lot of people believe that if you can't see something, it must not be working or it must not be true. But I want to switch you to a feeling is believing way of being. Because sometimes we can feel that things are different and that things are working, but we can't necessarily see tangible, visible results yet. Probably haven't mentioned this yet, but I am a huge believer in the law of attraction, and that what we put into our reality, the way we experience our reality is based on what we put into it. And a lot of us end up giving up before the things start showing up in our lives. So we need to start feeling and believing and trusting, and then acknowledging when things start to show up that are tangible. But acknowledge the intangible because we feel first. And if you can feel good before something actually shows up, you're in a much better position than somebody who is waiting for the physical to show up. Because that physical thing might be just behind the corner and you just haven't seen it yet. Or maybe you're facing in the wrong direction when Mr. Right or Mrs. Right walks behind you. Because you weren't open to things showing up when it's the right time. So you need to feel it before you can see it. Now I have a tool that I want to share with you. It's my growth and development spiral. So if you head over to my website at coachingdeconstructed.com and go to my Live Your Life Without Limits page on my website. And on that page there's an opt-in box. Just leave your email address and you'll get access to the download of the growth and development spiral. Now this growth and development spiral is the way that I see that how we grow in life, how things end up manifesting. And it gives us a context to find out where we're sitting in any particular project or any particular area of our life that's important to us just by understanding these 5 stages. I'll give you an example of this in action in my life to help you give you some context so that you can apply this better. So once you open up the growth and development spiral, you notice that there's a spiral that's going upwards. So we start at the bottom in this respect. So the first stage of the growth and development spiral is awareness. So first we become aware that something is amiss in our life and we want things to be different. Then we acknowledge how it's affecting us in our life and what we want to have change or be different. Once we know what we want to be different, we can start to ask for opportunities. This is allowing opportunities to come into our lives to help us with that situation. Once things start to show up, you can start to take inspired action on the things that feel the best to follow. And then from there, you activate your reality and you start seeing things showing up in your life, whether it's feeling or visual, something tangible that you can see, grab, touch, feel, the things start to show up. And then you end up going back through the same spiral all again, becoming more aware, acknowledging something else, allowing something new to come in, taking action, and then seeing what shows up. I'm going to take you through a story in my life on how this spiral works. So back in March I went to back in March, I went to a workshop, a training in San Jose. It's called the Big Shift Experience, put on by Bill Barron. It was a great experience, by the way. And I went there knowing that I needed to go, but I wasn't sure why I needed to go. I was trusting my gut. I trusted my intuition. I followed what felt right, that I had to do this. I didn't really know why, but I was trusting myself. I knew there would be personal growth. I knew there'd be learning. I knew there would be contacts that I would make. But who and what and where and why, I didn't quite have all figured out. But I knew I needed to do it. So I went. And I became aware of the fact that I really wanted to be in front of groups of people and that I wanted to have a bigger impact on people. So that was one of my big awarenesses that I had while I was there. And I started acknowledging it, how important that it was that I start to be in front of bigger groups, larger groups, more often, more frequently, building a tribe, if you will, and how important that was to myself, my business, and everybody that I can put my fingerprints on to help them lead better lives. So I started having ideas about being in media or being in front of other people's groups, things like that. I had a lot of trouble trying to film my own workshops and things like that. But getting in front of somebody else's group, that felt like a really good possibility. So I started asking around to try to get more opportunities to speak in front of other people's audiences. And I encountered a bit of resistance because the opportunities for that were not showing up the way that I hoped or wanted to. So it's almost like I was trying to identify exactly how I wanted things to work out. But that's not how law of attraction and this spiral works, because you need to be clear on what you want, but be open to the possibility of newer, different ways of opportunities showing up for you that maybe you haven't seen before. So trusting that it's the right thing, but not knowing exactly how it's going to show up. So I was allowing in opportunities for me to get in front of other people's audiences. And it was about, I want to say 3 weeks after that experience, that's what I knew that's what I wanted, but I didn't know how it was going to show up, that I ended up getting a LinkedIn, congratulations on your 1-year anniversary of your business or whatever it was, something like that. And for whatever reason, I noticed this name, and I noticed that they had tweaked the generic congratulation message just enough that I was curious to see what was on the other side. So I clicked on that button, I went to their profile, and I noticed that it was Cece from this radio station, and I was like, oh, this is an opportunity that I had never thought of before, but maybe there's something here. Hey, I'm going to send her a message, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll see what happens. And that opportunity has led to this show. And so I was aware that I wanted something different to happen in my life. I acknowledged how important it was to me. And now I was allowing in opportunities this show to show up. And I took inspired action to follow what felt good. And this felt good. And now I'm starting to see how valuable creating this audience is. So a lot of things are starting to show up in my life. It's not a finished story. It's a constant evolution, a spiral up of learning and growth that we build upon, and you continue to follow what feels good. And at some point down the road, I'll know whether or not this is really something that's feeding me and making me feel good and, helping me achieve the goals that I want to achieve, or if it's a distraction and I need to focus on something different. But I'll only know that if I experiment and play with what feels good. So that's how the growth and development spiral works. So after the break, I'm going to help you guys use the spiral to help you create your vision in an area of your life that's important to you. And I'm going to help you by sharing some common mistakes to steer clear of when creating your vision.
You're listening to the Live Your Life Without Limits show with Ian White, Life Fulfillment Coach on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network.
This is Cece Schatz, and I'm an inspirational speaker, divorce, life, and transitional coach with a unique style of healing from within. With that, been here, done that approach to life. I hope you'll join me each and every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Going Solo with Cece, where we bring you educational, informative discussions through the devastation feelings of divorce to finding yourself and redefining your best life. We will take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of divorce, parenting, being single, relationships, dating, and yes, sex. So be sure to tune in every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Going Solo with Cece.
Hi everyone, this is Lisa Copeland, the host of the You Can Find Love After 50 show. You can catch my show on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, where we'll talk about how you can find love after 50 on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network.
Welcome back to the Live Your Life Without Limits show with Ian White, Life Fulfillment Coach on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network.
So welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we covered why your vision is so important to you. And I covered a couple of concepts to help you grasp the idea of feeling is the most important thing, how to integrate the growth spiral into your life. So now what? How do you create a vision for yourself that's going to help spark you and lead you forward? So typically when you create a vision, people will use vision boards and mind maps or detailed written descriptions of what they want their life to be like. And that's totally cool, and I think it's great if you put something together like that you can look at on a regular basis that excites you and inspires you to do daily actions towards living that life that you want to. But the core of all of that, no matter which modality you decide to use in order to create your vision, the core is stating clearly the feelings that you want to experience in that vision. And that list of feelings might be something like feeling happiness, feeling joy, feeling passion, feeling competition, freedom, support, abundance, wealth, excitement, adventure, competition, health, personal growth. Whatever you desire to feel is what you want to incorporate into your vision. That's the basis for all of this. And not just having the feeling, but being able to clearly define what each of those feelings mean to you. And when have you typically experienced those? And you can use events from the past or experiences that you'd like to have that you believe you will experience that joy, that happiness, whatever it is, and be really clear on what those feelings are that you want to experience. And then let's see what shows up. But for the purposes of this call, I want you to select one area of your life that you want to improve and determine the associated feelings that you want to experience in that area for that area of your life to be that much better. And then I want you to use the growth spiral to help you identify how that's working for you. So let's say it's a relationship issue, relationships that you want to build on. And maybe the feelings that you want to feel are passion, excitement, companionship, joy, closeness. Maybe those are the feelings that you want to experience in that relationship. And then I want you to acknowledge what it would be like to have those things in your life on a regular basis. So first you need to be aware of what you want in your life, how it is affecting you. So acknowledge how it's affecting you. And once you're clear on those, you can start to allow in opportunities for those experiences and feelings to start showing up. And as things start showing up, trust your gut, trust your intuition to act on the ones that feel good. They might be scary, but the ones that feel good. The reason I say scary is sometimes you're maybe being forced a little bit outside your comfort zone to do something or to try something, but maybe that's because you've never done it before. But if it feels good and it's scary, probably a good way to go. It just means you're growing, trying new things. And then you need to be grateful for what actually starts to show up. You need to be grateful for the tangible and the intangible. The intangible meaning the feelings and maybe some of the experiences that are kind of vague but feel good. And the tangible are the things that you can see and identify and picture actually showing up, physical things that have manifested as part of this process. And the more grateful you are, the more things will start showing up in this area. And then you can reassess where things are. Identify maybe some new feelings that are showing up that you'd like to experience more of. Some maybe that you hadn't thought of, but that you've experienced as a part of this growth journey. And then go through this spiral upwards again. So now that you have an idea of how to use the spiral in your current situation, I want to cover some pitfalls that you may experience as a part of visioning, creating the life that you want to. And the first one is focusing on a specific way that everything has to show up or manifest for you. Because if you focus on one way that things have to show up, you may be blind to the other things that maybe are showing up but that you're completely oblivious to. It's like saying, oh man, I really wish I found more money. I really wish I was becoming more abundant. I really wish I was attracting more wealth and my finances were improving. I remember actually when I had a little bit of a money struggle period and I was asking for more abundance. And if I had only been thinking about creating wealth by more money coming through the door, I'd be excluding other opportunities from showing up. And it just so happens that very week, I ended up getting a reduction in my insurance so that I actually was paying less money in insurance bills every month because of some kind of faux pas that happened, and they reduced my insurance by $20 a month. I was saving $20 a month. So if I was completely blind to things showing up in a very certain way, I would have been oblivious that my financial situation had actually improved. So it's really important to be open to opportunities showing up in a different way than you have thought was possible in the past, and allow in opportunities for it to show up in different ways. Pitfall number 2 is picking outcomes or versions of success defined by others. Bigger house, a BMW, the huge lot, the expensive clothes. You need to pick outcomes that support you in feeling better, that support you in feeling the experiences and the feelings that you want, but not based on what somebody else thinks is success, because you're not going to feel the success based on somebody else's success thresholds, if you will. The third pitfall is noticing your limitations. So you may notice when you're starting to come up with experiences or things that you want to experience in the future that would be the ideal for you. Perfect man, perfect house, perfect salary, whatever it is that you're choosing that is physical. And then catching yourself saying, that's not realistic. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. That's your glass ceiling. So if you can pick up on the fact that you're actually limiting your dreams and remove those limitations, you open up for possibility of more to show up. So remain open. Express what you want and expect more to show up. Just don't expect it to show up in the way that you thought it was going to show up. And the last pitfall that I have here is trying not to make it perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to have preferences and likes and dislikes and things showing up that you like and things showing up that you don't like. It's a constant evolution and a practice. When I first decided to go into coaching, I picked a direction. I picked relationship coaching. That's the training that I took, and I followed that path for a while, and it felt way better than property management, but it wasn't perfect. And then I kind of veered off a little bit, so I made an adjustment in my course. It didn't feel perfect, so I went in a direction that felt better, and I moved into life coaching. And then I veered off to that, and I coached managers on managing their employees. And then I've moved into life fulfillment coaching, helping people live more fulfilled lives. It's more general, but feels more cohesive and in alignment with where I want to take my life, my practice, and where I think I can serve the greatest number of people. So you are constantly going to be realigning your GPS with your ultimate destination. You may be taken down a road that you didn't expect, but may have an amazing outcome, or it doesn't quite feel right and you make the adjustment. You get back on track, you get that recalculating message by the GPS system. There are no wrong turns. There's actually a quote that I love from Esther Hicks. If you guys know who this is, I'm sure a lot of you will. And she often says, you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. It's the perfect expression for the perfectionist because it keeps you moving in a direction that feels better than not. So I know I covered a lot of things today. We covered why your vision is so important to help you get moving in the direction that you want, clearly defining why it's important to you, using the spiral to help you figure out where you are, where you're going, and what you need to do next, and some common pitfalls that get in the way of us really expressing a vision for what we want for ourselves in a clear way that inspires and ignites us. So if there's some confusion here, send me questions. If you want to work with me, head over to my webpage at coachingdeconstructed.com. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you to see if working together would be of service to you, and if not, maybe a resource that I have at my disposal that'll help you get where you want to go. So thanks for listening, everybody. I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to share my next experience with you, and I can't wait to have another conversation with another great entrepreneur or person who is living a life without limits themselves. So take care, everybody, and we'll talk next week. Bye.
You've been listening to the Live Your Life Without Limits show with Ian White, Life Fulfillment Coach, on WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network.